completion of both national anthems at Honda Center as we come back inside, because the visitors from north of the border tonight, the Vancouver Canucks, are in town to take on their division rivals, the Ducks. And time for tonight's Keys to the Game is brought to you by your helpful SoCal Honda dealers. With those, we go to the Anaheim bench and Ken French.
Johnny Payne with assistant coach Bob Wood, playing a Vancouver team that has 69 penalty minutes Monday night. They're trying to play bigger. They're trying to play more physical. How do you counter that tonight?
Well, I think you got to match it. We got to come out and be physical. We got a big team as well here. So, just stay disciplined, but get involved. And if you get power play opportunities, make them pay.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, Johnny, back up to you.
Thank you, Kent. If indeed that's the case tonight, as John Tortorella's team played very physical Monday in Los Angeles, we will hear from Paul Dvorsky and Dan O'Rourke, the referees assigned to tonight's game. The linesmen are Andy McElman and Johnny Murray.
You see the look in the eyes of both coaches watching the opening face-off quite intently.
Yes. Koivu's line to begin the game. He has Jakob Silfverberg on his right. It's the Kessler line with Kassian and Higgins to begin the night for Vancouver. The Ducks lose it in their own zone at home. Kessler rips one off the near side post. A break early for Frederik Andersen and the Ducks, as Francois Beauchemin just turned it into the middle of the ice, and Kessler wasted no time.
It started with the dump in, and Andersen did not make a play on the puck, and then the turnover by Francois Beauchemin. Boy, he gives it up to the leading goal scorer of the Canucks, and you see why. Kessler gets that away in a hurry. That's a break for the Ducks. He rips it off of the crossbar.
So the face-off to the left of the Danish native. Andersen 10-2 on the season, and we'll see a bid from Bieksa here that he sticks away to the corner glass. Kassian chases, and Lindholm drops down to move it up the wall and out. He gets hit as the puck all the way back, not far enough for icing. Silfverberg and Bieksa battle for it there. Played along by Kessler. Beauchemin steps up, ricochets right into the goal crease, and Eddie Lack had to make a play on it. Lack making his third appearance this season against the Ducks. He's been between the pipes in all three meetings between these two clubs. Overall, just his 19th game of the year.
Yeah, he's been very good in the games head-to-head against Anaheim as well.
He was spectacular in here 10 days ago. Made 45 saves in that overtime loss for the Ducks. Getzlaf with his first shift, looking for Penner in front, but can't connect. And the Canucks lead it back. Fowler on his horse to get it for the Ducks. Chased behind the net by Zach Dalpe, and his clearing attempt knocked down by Henrik Sedin. Dalpe, who draws front line duty tonight with the Sedin twins, works the puck deep into the zone. Henrik hits it across. Hamhuis turned away by Andersen.
What a pass. The width of the ice, John. That was almost a 65-foot pass that landed flat, and the one-timer blocked by Andersen. Great pass.
Puck lobbed deep into the Vancouver zone. No icing as Penner had the angle on it. Now the Canucks will be called for icing as they're errant on their entry into the Anaheim zone.
We're talking about the pass by Henrik Sedin, one of the great playmakers in the game. Look at this thing. It probably reaches a height of about 1.5 feet, lands right on the tape of Dan Hamhuis. That is a high-skill pass from Henrik Sedin, and a nice stop by Freddie Andersen.
Henrik Sedin, 9th in the league in assists again this season, the all-time Vancouver Canuck assist man and scoring leader. Not hard to figure there as the puck skips back to Andersen, and he'll hold for a faceoff.
Last time these two teams met, the Ducks came from behind to win. They outshot Vancouver 40-7 in the final two periods of that game. The big difference tonight is that Alexander Edler has returned from injury, and he is a terrific defender for the Canucks. He'll play a lot against Getzlaf and Perry in this game tonight.
He's missed 19 games in all this season. He was suspended for 3, and then the 16 prior to the Kings game on Monday due to that lower body injury. But it's been a struggle for him, Brian. -12 coming into tonight's action for Edler when he has been in the Vancouver lineup.
A very uncharacteristic season for him. But again, the guy that plays big minutes and plays against the opponent's best night after night.
Jannik Hansen brings it out of the Vancouver zone, gets center red and lobs it in. Andersen, who handles the puck well, out to play it. And Francois Beauchemin behind the net handles it. 17 blocked shots for Beauchemin in the last 2 games. He's getting back to his nuts and bolts game. Big ice time and blocking a lot of shots. Played over 27 minutes 2 games ago. Here's a turnover, and Solani misses the mark.
Boy, both teams have committed bad turnovers deep in the offensive zone to people that you do not want to turn the puck over to. Teemu's shot was wide by about a foot and a half.
That was Edler who coughed that puck up. He goes to the Vancouver bench for a change. Little rust on the Swedish Olympian. At least here early on. This is just his second game back in nearly 2 months. Bieksa's shot redirected, and that turned into trouble for Anderson, who's able to beat David Booth to it.
Let's go back to that opportunity for Teemu Selanne. Santorelli was under all kinds of pressure, just slid it across. He was looking for Bieksa, did not get much zip on the pass, and Selanne had come off the bench with speed. And then a little redirect that Freddie Anderson does a good job of locating before David Booth got to the rebound. Booth, by the way, has been out of the Vancouver lineup for the last 3 games. And this is a big one for him. He's trying to make an impression on head coach John Tortorella.
Booth has been hurt and in and out of the lineup as a healthy scratch for John Tortorella throughout this season. This is a very banged-up Vancouver team. They only had 18 available skaters with them here in Anaheim for the game, as they sent Darren Archibald back to Utica, the American League, after the game at Staples on Monday night. Dan Hamhuis on his way to the Olympic Games in Sochi as a member of Team Canada. Sends it deep into the Anaheim zone. Getzlaf had it in his skates, couldn't ever get it on his stick. And now Lovejoy joins him down low. Comes to the near side of the goal, and Fowler is there to clean things up. Cam Fowler ahead for Getzlaf off his skate deep into the Vancouver zone. Ducks will change.
You know, just watching Ryan Getzlaf, his first couple chips of this game, seems to be skating particularly well. No issues. It was a foot injury that had taken Getzlaf out of the lineup.
Offside are the Canucks, as Cassian unable to get back onside. Let's get a good look at the Ducks captain. A reminder, when the Ducks score 5 goals or more this season, Hooters gives you 5 free wings. You can print the coupon and head to Hooters, your destination for free wings in Southern California, within 24 hours of that 5th Anaheim goal.
23 goals on the season for Getzlaf, just 2 back of team leader, great friend Corey Perry in that regard.
Perry, incidentally, tied for second in the league in goal scoring. I don't know that anybody's going to catch Alexander Ovechkin this season, unless maybe he misses some games due to injuries, but it's a pretty good race around the league for second overall in the goal scoring race.
It is. It's a pretty good race just between those 2 guys, and you know that a lot of good-natured ribbing going on between the 2 at this point.
No score. We're just over 4 minutes in at Honda Center as Koivu lifts it in. Silverberg in front. Cogliano changes everything. Oh, is he hot?
Goal number 16 for Andrew Cogliano. It's helped along by a strange bounce off one of the stanchions that supports the glass on the side of the arena here. Cogliano with that speed jumped into a hole, and Silverberg found him. Here's the bounce. Look at that. Boy, that's a weird bounce around Garrickson. Credit Silverberg for jumping on that puck, finding Cogliano. He's in alone. And that's what Andrew Cogliano gives you with that breakaway speed, man. He is on top of defensemen in a hurry.
Here's a chance for Perreault, and another just alley-oop into the Vancouver zone. Botman plays it across. Bistrick times it over top of the goal. Perreault in the corner, works it down low. At Maroon, trying to get it back to the point. He does. Botman with a wrist shot deflected on the leg. Jackman, I think, got a stick on it. And a Vancouver defender lost his stick, but it's the Canucks the other way. And a shot wide off the wing from Kassian. Again, the Ducks counter. Jackman heads to the net. Perreault trying to get it over for Maroon. He's able to get it, but can't get it to the net. Ricochets out center ice.
Maroon and Jackman inserted into the lineup because Bruce Boudreau wanted a little bit more beef against this Vancouver team. And they go right onto the ice and generate some great scoring chances.
Now we were just showing Getzlaf and Perry on the bench together, the number 1 and 2 goal scorers for the Ducks. Here's Bonino, and he's bumped off the puck on a good bit of back checking. Was that David Booth that got back and got the hit on him? I believe it was.
Where the Ducks are jumping into holes, though, aren't they? Their speed away from the puck.
Booth back in front of the great save by Anderson on the redirect from Santorelli. Boy, they're good at both ends of the ice. I was just starting to say we showed the top 2 goal scorers. Cogliano's the 3rd leading goal scorer. He has the game's goal. And then Bonino busted in. Anderson makes the save and pushes the rebound past Dale Weiss. Well, this is wide open, Brian.
Well, the defensemen are getting caught on both teams, standing flat-footed in the neutral zone, and there's too much speed away from the puck.
And here's some more speed. Ryan Kessler in the Anaheim zone. The bump by Votman gets it over. Kessler cycles it back for him. Kessler takes it up the right towards a former Ohio State Buckeye. Wheels it down low. Motion clears up the middle. Benito got a stick on it. And we're going to get a hand pass call against Vancouver, and that's about the only thing that'll slow things down. Speaking of speed, speedy Andrew Cogliano has the game's only goal. Andrew Cogliano had 18 goals in his rookie season. He's only 2 shy of that, Brian. This run he's on is as hot as we've seen him in a duck sweater.
Yeah, 7 in his last 11 games now for Andrew Cogliano. And, you know, the other side of that is a significant plus player. Again, a guy that is asked to check, but in addition to check, because he can skate so darn well, he's able to get back into the attack and create opportunities. Just absolutely brimming with confidence right now as well, John.
Sure is fun to watch. The Canucks are putting everything on net as they skip a couple in from center ice. Anderson plays it away. Higgins can't get it away from Koivu in the corner. He gets help from Silverberg, who angles it back. Silverberg had the primary assist on the Cogliano goal. Now has 5 assists in his last 7 games. Puck lob back, and Anderson will handle this one. Moving it around the boards. Kessler gets it back towards the net, but missed everything. Kept in by Edler. Now the Canucks work in the Anaheim zone. Bieksa is open. His shot blocked away as Fister got in front of it. Rolls right to the side of the net. Anderson swats it away, says, let's keep playing, guys. And Votman was right there. Cogliano lifts it in. Ducks will get changes. Bieksa uses the glass to clear out of his own. No, it ricochets back into the Vancouver zone. Perry knocks it down. Well, you had Penner at the front of the net, but he couldn't get the rolling puck to settle for him. Now the two of them work in the right corner. Perry pulls it out. Oh, he took a shot from Edler, and he's a little bit shaken up. And now the Canucks will be whistled for icing. And Perry with a few choice words first for Edler, then for Daniel Sedin, and then for the linesman, I think, on the way. Take a look at this.
Well, he tried to go inside on Edler, and Edler looks like he may have caught him with an elbow. Difficult to see from that angle. This will show it here. You know what? Looking at it, was more shoulder than elbow. Edler did a good job of keeping that elbow tucked into his body. And with Perry's head exposed and kind of leaning forward, that was the point of contact.
Getzlaff finds the open man, Lovejoy. His shot tipped just wide as Perry was sneaking from behind the net. Penner falls to one knee, still keeps the puck alive along the near wall. Getzlaff gets it to Perry. Spin move in front. Oh, and from the seat of his pants, he nearly scored.
He got buried, too. And the fans were looking for a call as Corey Perry, so dangerous and so slippery down low as well.
Lovejoy gets it deep. Black plays it back. Edler, oh, and he saw Perry coming, and he leaned into him, and Corey got decked again. That's enough for Perry. He'll head to the bench as Perreault dangles into the Vancouver zone. Boschman keeps it in on the near wall, and Sestito forced back. Tom Sestito, pounded by Perreault, knocked it loose, and Lack forced to freeze it.
One of the things that makes Corey Perry a great goal scorer is his willingness to pay a price. He knows he's going to get drilled by Kevin Bieksa. Still goes there. Almost slides that puck inside the far post. Bieksa gets a pretty good piece of Perry, but he just doesn't quit. You know, from a prone position, he swipes at that puck and doesn't miss by much.
Maroon able to keep the puck in at the line momentarily, but the Canucks gather it back, and Hansen gets it deep. He's in on the forecheck along with Richardson. Loose puck to Boschman. His pass up the middle that Perreault will be able to get to, and he just lifts it ahead as Jackman went wide on the wing instead. Jackman gets a piece of the outlet pass, and Hamhuis a little bit of duress. Now the Ducks will change. Tanev trips coming out of the zone. Bonino knocks it away. Bolesky pouncing on the puck, and Hamhuis rides in along the boards. Very close to interference or holding, but play goes on. Now Valesky slings Tanev down. As it would appear in the early going that they're going to let him play a little bit. Weiss for Booth as the fourth line for Vancouver works in the Anaheim zone. Centering pass chipped over top of the net, and then Weiss gloves it down and hit the side of the net on the near side. Booth runs his man over. Over comes Fistrick to pin Santorelli to the corner boards. Weiss flips it back up the wall behind the net. Booth waits for it, and he gets pasted there by Mark Fistrick. Fistrick, never physical, was credited with 7 hits against the Red Wings here on Sunday. Canucks, patient. Garrison, he's got a heavy shot, and it's a stick save for Anderson. Puck deflected over the glass. 1-0 Ducks halfway through the opening frame.
Got to believe that Corey Perry is going to have ice bags all over that body. This is one shift of Corey Perry in this hockey game. Gets drilled with the shoulder. Bieksa knocks him down. Then he tries to go after Edler, and Edler was waiting for him and just dropped the shoulder and clocked him. Back to the bench, regroup. He'll be back out on the ice in a couple of minutes, and I guarantee you he's going right back to the front of the goal crease.
A day in the life of Corey Perry. A shift in the day of Corey Perry. Well, we've always said he's resilient. Ducks lead 1-0. It's Cogliano who handles the puck at center, who has the game's only goal. He'll flip it in wide of Eddie Lack, and he's forced to use the glove, and he'll hold for a face-off. Stay with us. Coming up a little bit later on in the game, we will pop the top on Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite as we look back at one of the key moments in tonight's hockey game. Feel free to pop the cap along the way before we do it, though.
Jakob Silfverberg, we've seen Kyle Palmieri do a great job playing alongside Saku Koivu and Andrew Cogliano. Tonight, it is Jakob Silfverberg's turn. Silfverberg has missed significant time this year with a hand injury. Thrilled to be back in the lineup, playing regularly. And there's a guy, John, who has got that great first step on the ice. Very explosive first stride. Allows Silfverberg to get to a lot of loose pucks.
On his way to the Olympic Games for Team Sweden. Jakob will appear in his first Olympic Games, obviously, at the tender age of 22. He cannot receive that pass at center as Hamhuis stepped in, and now Higgins gets rocked by Bushman at the line. Higgins hits the side of the net off the near boards, and around it comes. Kessler can't handle that pass, tries to take a swipe at it out of midair, and it is battled across the line. Kassian touches it. I believe we got a penalty coming up here, and I think it's going to go against the Canucks.
It's a high sticking penalty. I think it's Zach Kassian that's being called. Well, referee Paul Nagorski says, I don't know if you know it, but you hit him in the back of the helmet with your stick. And that's going to cost Kassian a couple of minutes.
John Tortorella looking up to see if he can get a look at it.
Pick it up. Kassian just kind of rides up into the visor of Francois Beauchemin. That will cost him 2.
Ducks 1 for 5 in 2 games this season on the power play against the Canucks. And right off the draw, Getzlaf's shot deflected over top of the goal. The top-rated penalty kill in the league for Vancouver. Part of the reason is they get in front of shots. Richardson blocking that one off the stick of Fowler. And an intercepted centering pass enables the Canucks to clear.
A staple of a John Tortorella team, the ability to get and willingness, it is mandatory to get into shooting lanes. A lot of the Canucks defenders have added a little bit of extra padding on the backs of their gloves, much like Tortorella's New York Rangers did, John.
Bouncing puck comes to Perry. He gets it to the net, and the glove saved by Eddie Lack. Still over a minute of power play time remains for the Ducks. Lack making his 5th consecutive appearance in goal for Tortorella's Canucks. Another Swedish native finding his way to the left coast of Canada. The Red Wings don't have the corner completely dominated when it comes to Swedish Stars. Canucks have their fair share with an Edler, a Lack, and a Sedin twins. Here's Perreault now as the Ducks umbrella the power play off the one faceoff. Penner gives it back to him. He draws two defenders to him. Solani hooks it on net. The rebound just a little out of the reach of Botman, who was trying to come off the weak side boards. Solani wins a puck battle down low. Anaheim still has it. Pass goes through Solani down low. Tannen steps up. And around the boards, Lindholm is able to hold it in near side. Saucers it to Perreault. Trying to get away from Kessler. Chops it down low. Solani takes it off the shoulder. And now battles. 5 players in the corner. And back to the point. Lindholm's wide open. So's Botman on the weak side. Lindholm's wrist shot ends up on Botman's stick.
But they just swarm. I mean, they're so aggressive, this penalty killing unit. There's just no time anyway.
Solani sets it up. Penner gets the feed from Lindholm, but doesn't handle it cleanly. Now gives it back to him. 15 seconds in the power play. Wrist shot deflected and a penalty coming up to Anaheim.
It's going to be an interference penalty here against the Ducks. Not sure who this is going against. See if we can pick it up. Dustin Penner is Sammy Botman for a little pick down low. Yep. It's on Kessler, so Botman will go to the box. Little pick to try and open up a shooting hole, but I'm impressed with that penalty kill, John. I mean, they just pressure all over the ice, and when the passings looked like it was going to beat the pressure, it was another layer.
So for 15 seconds, it'll be 4-on-4 hockey, and with the penalty call, the draw comes back into the Anaheim zone. Then the Canucks would subsequently have a minute 45 of power play time of their own. Getzlaf able to win the draw. Fowler moves it ahead. And here comes the captain. Looking for a passing lane, and he finds Fowler, who jumps into the play. Cam hooks it right back in front. Getzlaf fired it wide. Oh, wow. That was set up nicely. Bonino will keep it in, along with Getzlaf on the left side of the zone. Hard backhand pass to Bushman. Long drive handled by Lack.
John, you and I have said this so many times. Does anyone pass the puck with more pace on the backhand side than Getzlaf does?
I don't think so. I don't think there's any doubt. Now the Canucks on the power play. They are 2 for 5 against the Ducks this season. Overall on the year, they have struggled 23rd in the National Hockey League with the extra man. Canucks gain the zone and roll it right out of goal. Anderson, ever confident, plays it away himself and helps out the penalty kill. Cogliano had to go back to get it as that hit McElman, the linesman. Botman's penalty down to 50 seconds. Both teams get changes on special teams. Yannick Weber lays it back. Coming late is Kessler with speed. He goes around a couple of defenders and now in behind the goal. Daniel Sedin works the left wing half wall. Back to the line for Weber. The former Canadian gives it to Sedin, whose shot is wide. Henrik will collect it again for Weber. Blocked on the way. Right to Daniel. He throws it through everything to the far corner. Henrik Sedin again with it. Kessler misfires on the one-timer. Puck retrieved, however, by the Canucks. Kessler dumps it down low. Puck battle between Daniel Sedin and Moshima, won by the Canucks. He had a little bit of help. Daniel Sedin gives it back. Again to the line, another misfire on the one-timer by Weber. Comes right back out in front, swept away. The penalty is over. Botman joins the penalty-killing unit in the Anaheim defensive zone. Kessler, point blank, and a great glove save by Anderson.
What a stop by Anderson. The Sedins make the play down low. Watch this pass by Daniel over the goaltender's stick. Anderson still able to shut down Kessler. What a save. A difficult play for a goaltender is when his stick is beaten on a pass that's from behind the goal line. Watch what happens here. Henrik Sedin, little flip pass over top of the goaltender's stick, but Anderson still with a small little challenge, gets his body closer to Kessler. You see that Kessler had that top corner available, just couldn't hit it, but it is still a wonderful save by Frederik Andersen.
Kessler could have a couple already. Remember, he hit the post 14 seconds in. Sestito on the redirect sent it wide of the Anaheim goal. 4.5 to go in the first. It's a 1-0 Anaheim lead. From his knees, after being tripped up, Getzlaf jabs it up the wall and finally clears off the stick of Sestito. Shots are 8-6 in favor of the Canucks. It's 1-0 Ducks. Fistrick joins the rush, dropping it for Perry. Tried to get it to the net, that went off a Vancouver defender and into the netting above the high glass.
Real good puck movement by the Ducks on the breakout there. And Vancouver's been aggressive. They've been in on the forecheck. Watch what Getzlaf does. As soon as it's on the stick, he catches 3 players. And now the Ducks are away on a 3-on-2 rush. They don't execute. Vancouver gets someone through the middle of the ice on the back check, but that quick pass caught 3 players by Ryan Getzlaf. I guess the only problem with that is that Ryan Getzlaf was also 200 feet from the Vancouver net.
Ducks have done a nice job in the face-off circle in the early going, especially Matthew Perreault, who won that draw. Now he tracks it down to the Vancouver zone. Centers, an empty slot though, so Dale Weiss able to scale it off the glass and back. Ben Lovejoy comes up with it. Cross ice for Fowler as the 2 defenders switch sides. Maroon fights it off the wall. Jackman can't get it back for Perreault. Now 4 abreast. Here come the Canucks. Booth on right wing into the middle, and Santorelli couldn't get it off his skate, but he does get it back. Now steps in front. Way too much time. Anderson dives back to cover it. No signal from the referee. I don't think the puck ever crossed the goal line.
Frederik Andersen could feel this puck squeeze between the arm and the body. You see referee Paul Dvorsky, and he's just smiling, saying, no, I had a pretty good look at it. He could feel it get behind him, and there it is. Oh, what a great look, guys. The overhead camera. This puck's going to just drop down. Anderson locates it, uses the blocker and the catching glove to keep it from crossing the goal line. The referee Dvorsky was right on top of it.
Drops his stick in the process. Well, he's been living right. He's made some great saves. Well, he's kept the Ducks on top. It's 1-0. Frederik Andersen with 10 saves now officially. 3:15 to play in the opening period. Lovejoy has to turn and get this one. Dalpe on his bumper as he rims it around the boards. Able to battle it out of the zone, however, was Perry, and now he has to defend on Henrik Sedin. Got it to Daniel. His shot hit the skate of Lovejoy. Picked up by Fowler, but Henrik denies his outlet pass. Now the Sedin twins work in the corner on Getzlaf and Lovejoy. Goes to the far side. Daniel picked up by Fowler. The X has stepped up the boards, got a stick on it. And Penner trying to kick it out of the zone. Can't do so. Henrik trying to get to the front of the net, turns on the forehand. That's denied. As Fowler came back to get a stick in the way. Held in at the line by Edler. Good shift for the Canucks. Giving no quarter. It's all Getzlaf to do to just get it across the stripe. And turned over as Perry blocked it, and a penalty coming up to the Canucks as he was tripped up immediately.
They did exactly what they wanted to do, Vancouver, and that was make the Ducks' big line play in their own end for an entire shift. Anaheim finally gets the puck out, and then a mistake by Alexander Edler. He loses the handle. Corey Perry was going to break into open ice, and Edler trips him up.
Second power play chance of the night for the Ducks. So Koivu comes out to take the draw. In the circle to the right of Eddie Ladd.
Vancouver penalty number 23.
Koivu wins the draw. Here's Lindholm. Great pass across. Somebody off the skate. Shovels it over top of the goal.
Yeah, he got that in behind the goaltender Ladd.
Lindholm again at the line. Feeds it over. One time to score. Tipped in front, it's 2-0.
Well, judging by the smile on Teemu Selanne's face, there's a good chance his puck may have gone in off number 8. He was circling in front of the net with Sammy Vatanen hammered the one-timer, and Lindholm fed Vatanen in the perfect spot, right in the wheelhouse. He drills it. Hard to tell from that angle. Look at it right here. There's Selanne with his stick. And there's the redirect. He gets a touch on it. And another power play goal for one of the greatest power play goal scorers in NHL history.
for Solani, his third power play goal of the year of the 6 he has scored, and the Ducks on top 2-0. Table with 4 points now in his last 4 games, including a couple of goals, both of them on the power play. So the Ducks double their lead here in the late stages of the opening period. And Fistrick activating in the Vancouver zone, keeps one in. Vatanen runs it down near side. Quick puck movement in front, and Hansen intercepts as Maroon was trying to find Jackman. He does find Jackman this time. He steps out in front only to have it blocked back. And now it's Anaheim's turn to carry the play.
This line has been very good for the Ducks. Matthew Perreault provides the speed in the middle of the ice, and Jackman and Maroon have done a real nice job on the forecheck, getting in on top of Vancouver defenders.
Down to a minute remaining now. Actually 1:02 left as they whistle the icing here in the opening period. Teemu Selanne with his 254th career power play goal.
Here's a look at it. Vatanen shot. It was kind of a wobbling puck when it arrived on his stick. Teemu Selanne's in the vicinity, and he's kind of holding that blade out there. 253 power play goals for Selanne.
Lovejoy with a wrist shot that's sticked aside by Lack. Fowler gives it back to him. He'll try again, looking for a tip from Perry, and Lack covers up.
I've been impressed with Ben Lovejoy's ability to shoot the puck this season, John. Is it something else that he has brought to the table that I don't think the Ducks realized they had in Lovejoy, but he's done a nice job of getting point shots through, and he's been contributing with some goals this year. 3 goals on the season for Ben Lovejoy.
Change for Bruce Boudreau's club, and Selanne comes back out with Bonino and Bolesky. Teemu steps in to take the draw, got it to Bonino, and again Lack covers after making the initial save.
Part of Anaheim's game that has improved over the course of this winning streak has been the job that they've done in the faceoff circle. They just seem to win a lot more offensive zone draws that create chances. Selanne, normally the wing, but he goes in because it's on his backhand side.
Bonino set up as the trigger man again. And Teemu wins the draw. Bonino steps in. Bolesky battles into the slot, but Tanev will send it back. And as Postma goes after it, they'll wave the icing. Foot race won by Dale Weiss. Santorelli centers, and a shot fired wide off the stick of Booth. Booth has had a lot of jump tonight. Camuse's shot when it came through a lot of legs. It went off the side of the goal. Bonino knocked down, and from his knees, able to move the puck ahead. 15 seconds left as Tanev feeds it back, and the Canucks in transition try to get one more chance. Booth cuts to the front, and it knocked off his stick. It's still loose. And behind the net, the centering pass misses Booth. That'll do it for the first period.
Nervous moments, the Canucks on the attack once again, and boy, Freddie Anderson has been good, and he has received an awful lot of help from his friends down low. Booth with a quick move, he gets inside of Lindholm, and a little bit chaotic there. It's in the foot of Hampus Lindholm. It's off the side of the net. And then that was Nick Bonino, who got back and from his knees, was able to lift the stick of David Booth. So we see the second effort in the defensive zone. The Ducks opportunistic again in the offensive zone. A 2-0 lead for Anaheim. This is unusual territory for the Ducks, John.
First period's been a problem of late, and at times Vancouver had the better of the chances, but the Ducks lead 2-0 after 1. Anaheim Ducks hockey is brought to you by Jack in the Box. Try the new Fajita Ranch Melt for only $3.99 plus tax at a participating Jack in the Box near you. The Ducks lead the Canucks 2-0 after 1 period of play at Honda Center, just about set to start the second, so we go to the Anaheim bench and Lisa Hillary.
John, thank you. Brad, shots on goal even at 11. You guys are up 2-0. Any adjustments going into the second period?
No, I think defensively really got to tighten up. I think we gave up 10 good scoring chances last period, and a lot of it was just because we weren't communicating and we were more puck focused instead of being aware. So we just got to sharpen up a little bit defensively, and that should create some offense for us also.
Thanks, Brad. John?
Thank you, Lisa.
Well, thank you, Lisa. And let's take a look at our Honda highlights from the opening period. First shift of the game, Ryan Kessler rips one off the crossbar. but it was the speed of Andrew Cogliano. Strange bounce off the glass. Silverberg was on it in a hurry. He sets up Cogliano, and he just rips a short little snapshot in behind the goaltender, Eddie Lack. It's 1-0 Anaheim. Kessler was dangerous. Get another point-blank opportunity off a great feed from Henrik Sedin from behind the goal line, and then Mike Santorelli almost squeezes one between the arm and the body of the netminder. The Ducks on the power play made Vancouver pay. A one-timer by Vatanen redirected by the great hands of Teemu Selanne. Selanne, another power play goal. And that's where we sit at 2-0 Anaheim.
Boy, I go back to the goaltending of Frederik Andersen throughout that period. I mean, you look down, you see 2 goals on the board. That's a great period, but Andersen did some yeoman's work to keep that 0 up on the other side.
You know, this is a very entertaining hockey game. This feels not like a game in which both teams have 34 games left in the regular season, John. The intensity level is high, and no one's passing up too many opportunities to lay the body on people either, and that always adds to it.
Loose puck rolls to the side of the goal, and boy, Bolesky all over the place on this shift, and it's Selanne who gets set up, and then a glove save on Bolesky by Eddie Lack.
The forecheck this time, but Matt Bolesky, and this is his forte. Watch him get the shoulder into Bieksa, separate him from the puck. Bonino to Selanne, the first shot blocked, comes right back to Matt Bolesky, and he just whips a little snapshot that Eddie Lack picks off with his left hand. So a good shift for the Bonino line to begin this second period.
You know, you were talking about the intensity of the game, Brian. You know, certainly I don't think there's any secret that the Canucks feel that they need to right themselves a little bit. Within the division, they're just 6-4. They know they're going to have to play San Jose, the Ducks, and the Kings a great deal down the stretch as Weiss' shot off the left pad of Andersen. And I think to compete, they feel obviously like they have to be more physical as a hockey club. And the Ducks have responded well to that here in this first 20-plus minutes of this hockey game.
The thing about this Anaheim club is that they can play so many different styles. I mean, tonight they insert Jackman and Maroon into the lineup, expecting more of a physical game. And those 2 players have stepped in and have done extremely well.
And you get the feeling in talking to the players that the Ducks take a great deal of pride in the fact that they can play it so many different ways. They can play that heavy physical game. They can play the speed game.
You think about Kyle Palmieri. He was a star last game.
Yeah.
And he comes out of the lineup in this game. I mean, it just speaks to the depth this Anaheim team has demonstrated all season long, and the reason why they are the #1 team overall in the National League.
A 4-point lead over the next nearest team, the Chicago Blackhawks, entering tonight's action. Oh, by the way, the Ducks' next action in Chicago on Friday night at United Center.
Well, last time the Ducks went Chicago, St. Louis, they swept that series. And that might be almost as tough as the California trips that teams have to endure. I thought it was interesting what John Tortorella said after the LA King game, which was a very physical game. They took all kinds of penalties. And Tortorella said afterwards, you know what, the bottom line is this. In that game, I was proud of my team. We went into some areas that we have not gone into before, and we need to add some personality to our game. When he's talking about personality, he's talking about players mixing it up and stuff before and after whistles.
Puck went off of Sestito and into the Vancouver bench. John Tortorella is the winningest American-born coach in NHL history. Just coached his 900th game at the NHL level 2 nights ago. And I know Tort's well enough to know that he will not talk about that. He never, ever wants to draw any attention to himself as a coach. Everything is about the team. But I think that's one of those little-known facts that if you didn't read it or hear it, you might not think of John Tortorella, Brian, as the winningest American-born coach in the history of this great league.
One thing that we are hearing out of Vancouver is that John Tortorella has been a much different guy in dealing with the media in Vancouver. I mean, in New York for a while, it became great theater to attend a Tortorella press conference because they were over in about 15 seconds. So everybody got there. There was one question asked, and then he usually left. But, in hockey crazy Vancouver, part of the new assignment, if you will, to not do that anymore. And now all the members of the Vancouver media said he's been just wonderful with them.
Here's a good look at David Booth. We talked about him earlier, needing to get back in the lineup. Booth has an interesting pregame routine, at least here at Honda Center, Brian. I looked behind the arena before the game. He was out sprinting in the parking lot in the 80-plus degree temperatures. Perhaps it was easier for him to get warm outside. Talked to one of the radio broadcasters for the Canucks, and they said that David Booth is one of those guys that has his own pregame routine, and maybe just took advantage of being a little easier to get warm here today. It was interesting watching the patrons come into the building and walk right past him. It was dark outside, and it was hard to make out who it was, but whatever it takes, right?
He's been good in this game,
Yeah,
so whatever
has.
he's doing, he had 9 scoring chances, and David Booth has had 4 of them for Vancouver.
Yeah, he's had a lot of jump.
You know, this is a big game for David Booth. And players, when they do those sprints, they call it activation these days, and of course, Sean Scan does a wonderful job with the Ducks, especially a lot of the younger players. Special fast drills, they call them, as they prepare to put their skates on and get ready to play the game.
Perry just throws it to the net, and it goes in. Oh, an innocuous-looking little cycle, no angle. But when you score goals like Corey Perry does, everything's a threat.
I think you're going to see this puck deflect in off of Kevin Bieksa. Bieksa was circling in front of his own net. Corey Perry is just going to throw it. Yeah, it goes off the stick.
Wow.
Is it Bieksa or is it Dan Hamhuis?
I think that's Hamhuis.
Yeah, it's Hamhuis. An inadvertent tip by Dan Hamhuis. And that puck beats Eddie Lack on the short side. Corey Perry says, thank you very much. They don't get much easier than that. And we got a goaltending change here for Vancouver.
Wow, and this will be the NHL debut of Joachim Eriksson. Just 23 years of age. He was recalled 10 days ago after the ankle injury was incurred in Los Angeles by Roberto Luongo. And John Tortorella goes right down and says something to Eddie Lack as soon as he comes to the bench.
He might be saying, don't get too
Stay ready.
Yeah. Although he does hand his mask off to the equipment manager. So, you know, John, I watched Roberto Luongo today at the morning skate, and he's close. I mean, I don't think there's any question that it won't be long before Luongo is back in there.
So Lack credited with 10 saves on 13 shots through just under 24 minutes, and the Ducks have a 3-0 lead. Vatanen pursued as he finds Penner in the middle of the ice, and now Dustin goes in on the forecheck as Tanev back to get it. Ducks lead the Canucks 3-0. Goals by Cogliano, Solani, and Perry. Here's Higgins in the middle of the ice, and he just couldn't get it to settle on his stick. Delpy behind the net, back for Higgins again, and that's broken up by Lovejoy. Good job by Ben Lovejoy down low. Now Higgins gets to it in the far circle, puts it behind the net. Bieksa all the way into the goal crease, and we're going to get a penalty here.
Yeah, there's an interference penalty upcoming here on Bieksa. Remember the pick that the Ducks got called for earlier in the game? This is the same thing. It was Vatanen earlier for the Ducks. They took an interference penalty, and Kevin Bieksa is going to get one for the exact same infraction. Watch Bieksa just knock Cogliano off of his skates. You can't hit a player that does not touch the puck. Big hit moments ago by Mark Fistrick. That was on Henrik Sedin. And of course, any time that Henrik Sedin have the opportunity to knock him down, take him right out of the play, you do exactly that. The Sedins, by the way, were held without a single shot in the opening period. They made a couple of nice passes to defensemen joining the attack, but neither of the Sedin twins able to generate a shot on goal themselves in the opening 20 minutes.
The Ducks 1 for 2 on the power play so far tonight. Their last power play took just 15 seconds for them to score. They are 7 of their last 19 with the extra man over the last half dozen games. Solani, who has that power play goal, gains the line, has it knocked away. Edler reverses it. Garrison loses it in the skates of the referee, and now he's under duress as Penner steps into it. Kessler tries to help and does. Edler skates away and finds an opening up the far boards.
The Canucks just, again, so aggressive. 4 players surrounding the puck.
Oh, Ducks very close to having too many men on the ice, but play goes on. Vatanen puts it up the glass. Bonino gives it back to him. Sammy waits for it, settles it. Wrist shot, saved by Eriksson, and the rebound squirts all the way to the high slot. Bonino is on it. Winds and fires, he scores! Great traffic in front, it's 4-0.
John, we wondered what would happen if this power play ever caught fire, and now we know. Nick Bonino, that first shot, I don't know if the goaltender Eriksson actually made a save on it or not, but Bonino collects it, throws on the brakes, turns, and fires. And look at the screen. Both Perry and Bolesky are in front of the netminder. He never sees the shot when it is released off of the stick, and it goes right between the arm and the body of Eriksson, and now it is a 4-0 Anaheim lead.
Bonino played a season-high 22-plus minutes in the win against the Red Wings here on Sunday. Now has his 5th power play goal of the season, his 14th overall, and it's a 4-0 Anaheim lead. And things got away from the Canucks here in the early going of this second period, and they got away quickly. Anaheim now 8 of 20 on the power play over the last 6 games. Hamhuis gets it to the net. Booth gets to the rebound off of Anderson, brings it around. Hamhuis will one-time it, didn't get to the Anaheim net. Booth gets it to the net, and the glove saved by Frederik Andersen. The Ducks scored 1 late in the first to double their lead. They get 2 early in the second, 4-0. Time for Who Got It Done, brought to you by YP.com, the new way to do.
Nick Bonino, Teemu Selanne, the power play has certainly got it done so far tonight against the #1 penalty-killing unit in the National Hockey League. Teemu Selanne gets the first power play goal. The second one, Nick Bonino. The screen in front of the young goaltender Eriksson. He never saw it before it was in the back of the net.
Well, the yin and the yang of it. One guy who came into the year with 251 power play goals. The other guy came in with 2. Here's Cogliano off to the races. Eriksson fights it off, but gives up a fat rebound. Henrik Sedin follows up his own pass into the zone. Penalty coming up for the Ducks here as Edler sweeps it towards the net, and a hooking penalty, I believe, will go against, is it going to go against Koivu?
Yeah, it's Saku Koivu, and this is a call made out near the Anaheim blue line, and Koivu staring down the referee all the way to the penalty box, but see if we can pick it up. One hand on the stick. Yeah, that's a marginal call at best against Saku Koivu, but
Brian, Koivu had 16 penalty minutes in his first 32 games this season. He has 8 now in the last 2 games. Picked up 6 against Detroit here on Sunday.
Those happen when one team scores a couple of power play goals. Quite honestly, the standard, I think it's human nature. It changes a little bit. It happens a lot.
Just the second power play of the night for Vancouver as Bonino reaches and ices the puck. Getzlaf hard in on the forecheck, not giving anything easily to the Canucks despite having a 4-goal lead. Bonino does the same, chasing Edler behind the net. And Cogliano takes away a passing lane. Andrew Cogliano just goes a million miles an hour every time he's on the ice.
But not only that, John, it's a smart million miles.
Efficient too, yeah.
Yeah, he gets great angles on people, forces so many turnovers. There's another one from Cogliano.
Ducks changing as the hard around comes all the way back in front of the Anaheim bench. Bieksa joins the rush and rims it around and in. Daniel Sedin able to chip it back, and now Weber at the line. 60-year man hands it off. Hamhuis works it down low, forced right through the blue paint, and off a deflection, just harmlessly wide. Santorelli wins the puck. Lovejoy puts it up on the glass, around and out.
Well, Honda Center historically has been a very tough building when you're on the penalty kill to win that puck around the glass and get it to exit the zone. Because of those stanchions, they tend to slow the puck down a fair bit, so it was a good clear by Ben Lovejoy.
Santorelli winds it around and in. Anderson gives it to Lovejoy. He'll do the same thing. Batted down by Bolesky. He's off to the races short-handed. He has Silverberg. Gets it to him. Save made by Eriksson. He wasn't sure where it went. And now Fistrick will hold it in. The penalty still has 10 seconds left behind the net. Silverberg tried to wrap it around and rolled off the end of his stick.
That was a great pass by Bolesky to Silverberg. The goaltender Anderson makes a nice save with the blocker. The Ducks dangerous here.
And Bonino intercepts. Koivu right out of the box. Gets it back from Penner. Save Eriksson. Oh, and it was loose to the side of the net. Weber swats it out of harm's way.
Vancouver is just rattled in this game right now. The Ducks are forcing turnovers. They are jumping onto the counterattacks. And John Tortorella is saying, guys, this is not the way we need to react. Here's the chance for Silverberg right on the doorstep. And a nice save by the young goaltender, who's got to be thinking to himself, this National Hockey League isn't really all that much fun.
He won a championship, did Eriksson, last year in the Swedish Elite League. He spent 3 years there. Skellefteå was the team he played with, and maybe the Swedish Elite League's looking pretty good to him right now. Spent the whole year in Utica in the American League, the top affiliate for the Canucks prior to the recent injury to Roberto Luongo. And let's face it, he came in the middle of the fire here tonight. A limited supply of Ducks holiday packs still remain. They include 2 tickets to 3 upcoming games, as well as branded Ducks gear included. Order now at AnaheimDucks.com/holiday pack. Face off to the right of Eriksson, and Bonino wins the draw, and then he hit the linesman with his bid off the boards. Andy McElman able to shake that one off. Now Mike Santorelli to the line, and it's chipped up and out. Booth angled off. Good job by Sammy Vatanen there. Vatanen and Lindholm each with 2 assists in this game tonight for the Ducks. Bonino battles it across, and as Fistrick joins the rush, he spins to handle it. Sand wedges it to the right corner of the Vancouver zone, and Solani all over Hamhuis. Tanev ahead for Hansen. He hits the linesman. Andy McElman is a puck magnet right now. And Hamhuis turns it over. Perreault got it to Maroon. He got it towards the net. It's blocked. Gets it right back. Lindholm moves it over. Motion with a drive that came off the end boards nearly to the far post. And Maroon throws his weight around. Hansen into the middle, and again, the Canucks turn it over. Perreault gives it to Lindholm. Boy, look at the seize part for him. A wrist shot that's blocked. Jackman reaching for the rebound.
The big guys have been a factor down low here. Maroon and Jackman are just banging people around.
Bolshema behind the back, gives it to Perry, fresh off the Anaheim bench, alone in front. Perreault! And that shot never made it. Again held in by Lindholm. One-timer, Bolshema just wide off the back of the net. Perry keeps it alive. Ducks won't let the Canucks play with the puck. And a raucous crowd shows their approval as, again, Vancouver is called for icing.
Well, they gotta love it. I mean, the Anaheim just ratcheting up the pressure. And I'm a little bit surprised John Tortorella doesn't use his timeout here. I mean, there it is now. And he wanted to wait. All kinds of pressure from the Ducks. The Canucks had opportunities to clear the puck out of the zone and kept giving it right back to Anaheim. They just continued to pour shots at the youngster Eriksson.
Once again this year, American Honda brings us your 3-star leaderboard. Each time a Duck player is named as the first star, they'll earn 5 points. The second star gets 3, and the third star earns a point. At the end of the year, we'll tabulate it all up and see if anybody can catch Ryan Getzlaf.
Pretty healthy lead, Ryan Getzlaf right now.
Just good to see the captain back out there. He was riding a little scoring streak for 3-4 games prior to the injury, but more importantly, the impact he has on this team by just being in the lineup.
Well, it was a blocked shot at the right foot of Getzlaf. It was a bone bruise, but people not feeling all that comfortable when we saw him walking with a boot on immediately following that game. It's happened before where x-rays have been taken of an injury like that and they've been negative.
Yeah, just ask Zach Parise.
Only to find out 4 or 5 days later that there was a hairline fracture of some kind. So great that he's back. The Ducks had a tough practice yesterday. Lots of skating, and Getzlaf made it through just fine.
You know, John Tortorella didn't want to use that timeout there because the next whistle is a TV timeout. But he had to. His team has been on their heels as Anderson handles it off the end boards. 4-0 Ducks.
Back inside Honda Center is 4-0 Ducks. Anaheim has 2 power play goals, one from this guy, Nick Bonino. Why is it power play find success against the number 1 PK unit in the league?
We're keeping things simple. We're getting the puck to open guys and shooting it at the net. That one, Bolesky with a great screen. I don't think you ever saw it.
Nick, appreciate it.
Thanks.
All right, Johnny, back to you.
Thanks, Ken. The Canucks outchanced the Ducks in the opening period 9-7. In the second period, 8-0 in favor of Anaheim. You look up on the board, Brian, you see shots are even at 17 apiece, but it's been one-sided.
Well, this second period feels like the second and third period, the last time these two teams met, where the Ducks outshot them 40-7 in the final 40 minutes of the game. And the Canucks just couldn't deal with the Anaheim pressure. That's what this second period, the first 11 and a half minutes has felt like for me.
In that particular game, the last time these two teams got together was on the 5th of January. The Canucks were playing the back end of back-to-backs. They had played the day before at Staples Center against the Kings, but this time both teams well rested. I think the Kings-Canucks game was on Monday, and of course the Ducks last played on Sunday here against the Detroit Red Wings.
The other thing that we haven't really talked about that much, we said that Vancouver wanted to play a real physical game here against the Ducks. Well, when you score a couple of power play goals, that is always been the biggest deterrent of all. When your power play is lighting your opponent up, they think twice about taking liberties, that's for sure.
Well, look at Vatanen jump into the play, and Bonino gets it to him. Solani trying to return the favor. Vatanen spins off, and now a loose puck away to center. Here's Jannik Hansen. He's got plenty of speed to burn as he works on Fistrick, who pokes it away. Nice play there by Mark Fistrick. Squirts to the slot, but is covered up. Vatanen trying to just flip it out on the backhand, and now it does come to Solani. Teemu drops it off for Bonino. And Weber denies the return feed. You know, this remarkable run the Ducks have been on. 17 wins in their last 18 games. We were looking at it prior to the game. Brian, only one of those 17 wins came in a shootout, which I think is all that much more impressive for what Anaheim's been doing for the last 6 weeks.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. They're just, I mean, the Detroit game was kind of an anomaly, and they didn't score a whole whack of goals. 1-0 victory over the Red Wings, and can only be described as just a real gritty, gutsy defensive battle from both teams. This has been more the norm for Anaheim.
Penner, as the seam opened up, carries it in on the left side. Keeps possession for Perry, and again, that looked like knee on knee. He goes tumbling down. Corey Perry has had a tough night physically, and it was Zach Cassian, I believe. Or no, it's Tanev, excuse me, 8, not 9, I misspoke. Who appeared to get his leg out on Perry, who's not too pleased about it.
Well, watch what Corey Perry does. He's going to try and slide in, and Tanev steps forward with the right knee, upends Perry, and the referee makes the correct call. So, boy, that's always dangerous looking, isn't it? Yeah. That knee-on-knee contact where you see the contacted knee just whip right back. Players not only suffer serious knee injuries on plays like that, but thigh injuries as well, thigh contusions. Tanev sits down for 2 minutes, and Anaheim's power play now 8 for 20 in their last 6 games. Previous 10 games, they could not buy a power play goal. All of a sudden, it has caught fire.
Right off the draw, Penner got it to the net. Eriksson steers it aside, and Weiss fires it all the way down. Vatanen back to get it.
Well, John, during that previous streak where they only had 1 power play goal in 10 games, we talked a lot to players on the power play unit about it. They all said the same thing. We're getting our chances.
Vatanen gets one through, and Eriksson holds that.
Hit a couple of pokes, getting bounces. Certainly the bounces have started to go their way. More deflected pucks are going into the back of the net. But for me, the big difference is the structure with which they carry the puck through the neutral zone and are able to get it across the offensive blue line and get the power play established. There's just so much talent on this team. They can get the power play established, good things happen.
Now it's a foot race as Kessler pressuring Lindholm. And Lindholm, I believe, is going to get called. Oh, the penalty's going to go against Vancouver here. And Penner just lets it go off his skate to the corner. Garrison will touch up, and Anaheim is going to have a two-man advantage for 80 seconds. Did they get Kessler for holding here?
Well, watch Hampus Lindholm use his body to protect. And I would say both players took one hand off the stick. Both used their free arm. But only Ryan Kessler was given a penalty.
So it's a two-man advantage. And the Ducks up 4-0 with 5:40 to go in the second period as Kessler sits for holding. Bonino, Bolesky, and Perry come out on the power play. Now they make sure that the water bottle for Joachim Andersen is in its sleeve before play begins. Getzlaf and Fowler at the points.
The reason why that water bottle has to be in the sleeve is so that the overhead camera gets an unobstructed view of the goal line.
Getzlaf spins it across and Fowler runs it down. Anaheim set up. Boy, all the way to the ladies' tees. Getzlaf hands it off and Bonino scores. Everybody in the building thought the captain was going to shoot.
You know what? This sample of penalty killing cannot happen. You cannot pressure the point out at the blue line in a 5-on-3. The Ducks pick the Canucks apart. Look at the pressure up high here. There's just passing lanes wide open. Getzlaf into the middle. I mean, that's a gimme. The execution is great from Getzlaf. The fake, and then the pass across, and the one-timer from Nick Bonino. But the mistake on the penalty kill was made up high. You can't pressure the points on a 5-on-3. No way.
So the Ducks right back on the power play as they still have a minute 45 left in the Kessler penalty. Now up 5-0. Eriksson comes out to play it. Second goal of the game for Bonino. Both have come on the power play. The Ducks are 3 for 5 with the extra man tonight. Eriksson sweeps it away. Boschma holds it in. Walks the line, hands it over. Vatanen just fires on a one-timer. Comes right to the side, and then Eriksson couldn't freeze it. Silverberg trying to knock it loose up the wall, and the Canucks able to clear. Well, since the Ducks have 5 again tonight, Hooters will give you 5 free wings. Go to AnaheimDucks.com/Hooters. Print the coupon tonight. It's redeemable at any Southern California Hooters location for the next 24 hours. Maroon finds an open man. Boschma with a drive. Score on the rebound. It's Silverberg.
Silverberg is going to feel good about this one. It's been a while since he had found the back of the net. Nice little stop and move by Patrick Maroon. The rebound just sits there. Alexander Edler is having a tough night. Watch what happens here. The shot comes through, and it's going to hit the foot of Edler off of the goaltender and bounce right to Jakob Silverberg, and Edler doesn't allow his goaltender the opportunity to make a play on the puck.
Or did you see the relief on Silverberg's face? It's been a while. He scored one in his first game back, but while he'd been picking up the assists of late, he hadn't found the back of the net. And going back to before his injury, he had been struggling a little bit as well.
And he's been getting his chances. I mean, it's not like Silverberg has not been getting scoring chances. He just hasn't been able to bury them.
4 Anaheim power play goals. It's 6-0 with 4 minutes to go in the second. Garrison has his shot blocked. Big rebound. It's thrown towards the net by Weiss. Booth recovers behind the net, and he gets buried there. Puck came off the referee right to Patrick Maroon. Maroon picks up an assist on the goal. He's got 2 helpers tonight. As Anaheim has equaled their season high for goals in a game, and we're not out of the second period yet. Solano has one of the 6 goals. loses it off his stick, and it's head man back, tipped in by Zach Delpy. Fistrick didn't get much on it as it rides the top of the dashboard. Brad Richardson sends it back. Delpy out of the corner. That's blocked by Matthew Perreault. Molesky hustles down the near wall and then angles it out. Canucks get onside. Delpy serves it right back in. And Fistrick looking over his shoulder as he gets to it. He winds it around. Molesky into the middle, and Perreault knifes it to center.
All of the time remaining in this second period, 2 minutes and 53 seconds, teachable moments. How do you finish out a period that you have absolutely dominated? How do you not give your opponent scoring opportunities? Just playing solid defense and making smart plays with the puck.
Offside the call here.
That's what the message is going to be on the Anaheim bench. Keep the legs moving, keep the puck out to the perimeter, and work on the clock.
Coming into tonight, Brian, the Ducks just one game shy of the 08-09 San Jose Sharks for the best start at home in an NHL season. I like their chances.
Liking their chances, and assuming that they hold on and win this game, they'd only be one back of the New York Islanders for the second longest streak in NHL history. I mean, this is just an incredible run that this group is on, and boy, they continue to push the envelope in terms of pace in games. The offense, to me, is just so dynamic. There's so many different weapons in this lineup, and it doesn't help when you got the kind of goaltending that the Ducks have got. They've just got a stable of goaltenders, it seems, in Anaheim.
Brian, it's remarkable to me. I've had the good fortune of being a broadcaster in this game for, I think, about 114 years. And I know you've been at it longer than that. I've never been around a hockey team that's been on a run like the Ducks are on right now. I don't think we can overstate it. I mean, this is truly remarkable what this team has done.
It's history making, what we are witnessing this season. And let me tell you, it's an awful lot of fun.
Oh, is it ever? I mean, you know, the Ducks win 10 in a row, then they lose at San Jose, then they string together 7 more in a row, and then this is where we are right now. Look at these streaks, completely unprecedented. In the last 45 years, only the 5th time a run like this has been put together. That's why this building is full for the 7th straight time here tonight. These people are coming out. They're anticipating to see this play. And night after night, they're getting it from the Ducks. Right off the draw, Anderson kicks it aside as Henrik Sedin shoots it. And again, the puck goes out of play. Canucks players claim it should be a delay of game call, but they won't get it.
Every 20 games in the regular season, Bruce Boudreau pulls his players in for an individual one-on-one meeting. And he starts the meeting by saying, what questions do you have of me? And he wants to know everything about them. He wants to know about their families, what's going on with home, how are they feeling. Not just about hockey. He wants to get them to know them as individuals, as personalities. And we were asking him today about how long he's been doing that and why he started doing that. And he said, I do it because it's what I always wanted to have happen to me as a player, and it never happened. I wanted to know why I was playing on the 4th line. I wanted to know why I was being sent down to the minors. I wanted to know if I wasn't feeling very well, if I could go comfortably to the coach and say, look, I just don't have it in me tonight to play that many minutes. Because I wanted to know all of those things. So it's that experience as a player that he has brought to the table as a coach.
And again, the Canucks just trying to get everything to the Anaheim net. Daniel Sedin tried to shoot that puck off the face-off. And then everybody who got their hands on the puck in white was just trying to get it into the blue paint. It didn't have a lot on it, but it was a bit of a knuckleball for Anderson.
We got a penalty coming up against the Ducks for tripping here. Vancouver, you're right, John, just throwing every loose puck towards the net. And I think it's going to be Koivu again. I think he was just wearing a bat to that penalty box in the last couple of games. Him knocked down, I think it was Daniel, right on the doorstep.
It is indeed Koivu, a 2-minute goon of late. That's his 5th minor penalty in the last 5 periods. Henrik Sedin's bid is blocked, and a sweep of the stick by Bonino clears the zone.
I've really been impressed with the game of Mark Fister tonight, John, as well. I mean, he's one of those stay-at-home types, but he's been physical, and he has been fearless in terms of getting into those shooting lanes and blocking shots.
Brian, obviously tonight everyone is focused on the power plays. The Ducks have 4 power play goals. But this penalty kill for Anaheim comes into tonight now in the top half of the league, nearing the 82% mark. And unless you've been around this team from day one, as you and I have been, you may not remember the trials and tribulations of the shorthanded unit early in the year. They have come a long way.
Both units all of a sudden picked up steam. The power play more recently, the penalty kill has become a much longer streak.
Centering pass to Kessler, and it's knocked away, just led ahead by Silverberg, and Cogliano will get to it. Hits the brakes, he's got Silverberg who jumps in. Oh, and a save by Eriksson.
What a play. What a play by Silverberg to keep the feet moving. He jumped back Sedin. Great pass Sedin to get that scoring opportunity. Scoring chances on Canuck power plays in tonight's game. Vancouver, 0. Anaheim, 3.
Does that include the one we just saw 10 seconds ago? Those are up to the minute numbers. Great work by Brian Hagan. Our stat man in the booth, and good work in the corner by Bolesky. He taps it off the wall to himself and then ices. 10 seconds left in the period. There's about a 1-second difference between the penalty clock and the second period clock. Booth speeds in, cuts off the wing, runs into Anderson. Loose puck, and they score on the rebound with 1.6 seconds left. And Anderson took the worst of that.
Well, you know what?
As Kassian came crashing in.
They're going to let this goal stand. I think the referees are going to huddle and talk about this, because this, I don't believe, should count. Because the way the rules are today, Freddie Anderson was not allowed to make a play on the puck. Booth with the collision, he just drifts Anderson right out of the goal crease. Kassian taps it over the line, and there was no contact prior to the collision with the goaltender. David Booth had inside position. He just bowls over Frederik Anderson. Back in the day, that was a perfectly legal offensive tactic.
Now Paul Dvorsky sends Henrik Sedin and Francois Beauchemin packing from the official circle, and now the discussion ongoing. They haven't put the goal up on the board. The red light went on. I did not see an indication from
Yes, they
either
pointed,
official.
yeah, they
call it
pointed
goal?
good goal.
They did call it goal. Okay.
But, you know, after this, the referees did huddle up, have a discussion. And they have made a formal ruling that this is a good goal. They're just checking the clock at this point.
So they take the clock down from 1.6 to 0.3 of a second. It will be a power play goal for Zach Kassian.
John, throughout the league, I've seen at least a half a dozen goals taken away on very similar
And here we
plays.
go off the face-off, Sestito and Jackman. And this is to be expected. It's got to be a frustrated Canucks team right now. And Sestito, the league leader in penalty minutes, found a willing participant. Jackman with a couple of right hands, and now he gets the right hand free. Sestito does the same. Two big boys, and as they tumble to the ice, the linesman intervened. They didn't want to stop. Well, that could set the stage for the third period of play.
Well, you knew this was coming. It'll be interesting to see if they give Sestito more than 5 and maybe a 10-minute misconduct to keep him off the ice in the third period. That'll be interesting to see, or if he gets any kind of an instigator on the play. But great period for the Ducks. It's unfortunate for Freddie Anderson that goal is allowed to stand up. But a dominant middle period as Anaheim's power play just completely takes control of this hockey game.
4 power play goals in all for the Ducks through 2 periods of play. 3 of them come in the second. They chase Eddie Lack, but they don't let up. Our score after 2 periods of play at Honda Center. The Anaheim Ducks 6. The Vancouver Canucks 1. All rights to this broadcast are reserved, and any rebroadcast, recording, retransmission, or other use of this broadcast without the express written consent of the Anaheim Ducks is expressly prohibited. And with the Ducks up 6-1 over Vancouver after 2, I would say don't make the Ducks mad, because this is what happens when you do.
5+ goals for now the 10th time in their 22 home games. They've gone 4 for 5 on the power play. Can't remember the last time that happened, John. 6 players have had multiple point games, and 12 different players have recorded at least 1 point. So again, the depth of the Ducks has been impressive. On the other side of the puck, how have they done against Vancouver's top players? Pretty darn well. They've held Daniel and Henrik Sedin pointless in this game. They've each only recorded 1 shot on goal. Both of those came in the second period of play. So overall, just another terrific night for the Ducks.
And we're not done yet. Remember the way the second period ended, with Tom Sestito dropping the gloves in the final seconds of the period with Tim Jackman. And you know that the Canucks are frustrated. Sestito and Jackman each received 5 for fighting at the 20-minute mark. But the Canucks have to play tomorrow as well, Brian, something to take into consideration. They go to Phoenix immediately following this one.
And that is a huge game for the Vancouver Canucks.
Yeah,
I mean, where you're fighting for playoff position, just trying to stay in the top 8 in the West, and they got to put wins up.
Booth will flip it in. We're underway, and Anderson stops it behind the net. Lovejoy sends it around and squirts into the middle. Fowler protecting the front of the net. He has room to go cross ice for Lovejoy.
Boy, he does a good job protecting that puck.
A little surprised. Joachim Eriksson stays in net for John Tortorella. I speculated during the break to you, Brian, that I thought Tortorella might come back with Eddie Lack after Eriksson came in. He faced 11 shots and gave up 3 goals.
Well, probably has more to do with the game tomorrow night in Phoenix. And if Roberto Luongo is not ready to go, it will be Lack that he's coming up with. You know, we watched Tortorella go talk to Eddie Lack when he pulled him, and I'm wondering now, John, if
that might have been the message.
Yeah. Don't worry, it's not your fault, but we got to get you ready for tomorrow, and I'm trying to change things around. It didn't work because the Ducks just kept pouring it on the young goaltender Eriksson.
It's the NHL debut for the 23-year-old Swede. Not under the circumstances that anyone wants to come into their first game, but nonetheless, that's the case. Here's Koivu. He has an assist tonight. And he gets it to the net, and Eriksson covers it up.
I want to go back to a little sample of Cam Fowler holding onto the puck and protecting the puck, using his legs. We use this term all the time, protect it. David Booth comes in with a two-handed crack trying to get at the stick of Fowler. He kind of wards it off with his leg, just kind of spins, very subtle little play, finds his defense partner, Lovejoy. Those two read off one another so well. They always make themselves available to receive the pass from their partner when he's under trouble, or in trouble, excuse me. And just, again, the skating ability of Fowler allows him to do that over and over and over again. And he's a tough guy to get a forecheck generated against because he has done such a nice job protecting pucks.
Cam Fowler plus 10 in his last 9 games coming into tonight. Now a plus 14. Has never had a plus season in his first 3 years in the NHL. Boy, has he turned the tables on that. Bolsheviks drive, drops. Weiss, and play goes on. Bolesky steps in, tries to make the pass to the far post.
We had Nick Bonino down there. They were trying to set him up for the hat trick, John.
Anderson so good with the puck, handles a bouncer. Biscuit, and then finds Solani off the boards to Bolesky. He'll shoot this time. Eriksson unable to reel it back in, and Bolesky gets it back behind the net for Bonino. Watched by Hamhuis. Tanev knocks it off his stick, and Hamhuis moves for Santorelli. Mike Santorelli, for the rest of the mates changing behind the plate, trying to chip it in. Sammy Vatanen is so good at getting the angle and just sealing a player off, and then goes and gets the puck. And through the middle, Cogliano into the break. fires it wide.
He went to his favorite move, John, which is that quick little, I call it a push move to the forehand, and I think the puck just rolls off the tip of the stick. I don't know if Eriksson actually makes the save here. Boy, Paparou's had a nice night. Springs Cogliano, and yeah, the puck just kind of rolled at him, and he could not execute on the shot. A little different, too, when you got a goaltender that catches with the right hand like Eriksson does. Unfortunately, a misfire that time by Andrew Cogliano.
Eriksson becomes just the 5th right-handed catching goaltender to play in a game in the NHL this season. Of course, that includes Jonas Hiller. Now here's Penner. He sprung in, joined by Perry, and he got in too deep and driven into the end boards by Edler. Alexander Edler from center ice, and Anderson trying to spring Perry himself, and Corey unable to wait for it at the blue line is offside. Well, that's a new wrinkle we haven't seen from Anaheim netminders before, as Anderson passed that puck all the way to the far blue line.
He's a big, strong kid, and those taller goaltenders, a little bit more leverage on the goal stick. And you're right, it's an element that he brings to the table. I don't think we've ever had a puck-handling goaltender that can really shoot it the way that Anderson can.
That makes me think, Brian, that's the type of goaltender that can score a goal when the opposing netminder is pulled late in a hockey game. Faceoff will be to the left of Anderson. 13th appearance of the year, came into tonight 10-2. Went down to Norfolk for just a few days, played in back-to-back games down there following his appearance on Thursday at Nashville, played Saturday and Sunday. Ended up playing 3 and 4 days, so tonight becomes the 4th game for him in the last 7. Nice diving effort by Pfister because he took away the passing lane. Delphi was trying to feed it out in front. That's the sort of game you get night in, night out from Mark Pfister. He hits, he blocks shots, and he gives up the body.
We're running around a little bit here all of a sudden.
But trying to stir things up. We saw Bieksa step into Perry off that last icing call, but Corey would have nothing to do with it. Pass comes through the slot all the way to Moshman. Gives it to Bonino, a rifle shot out to Lindholm. And his wrist shot handled off the blocker by Eriksson, who then reels in the rebound.
Nicklas Lindholm has been paired with Francois Moshman most of the night. Mark Pfister has been with Sammy Vatanen, and there was that sliding, diving play as Pfister laid right down, shaft to the stick along the ice as well. Again, the Ducks are going to really emphasize the defensive part of this third period. And there's a good play by Taylor Solani, who's first man back with a back check.
Weiss was looking for Richardson in the slot. It's batted out of midair, and then Lindholm wins the foot race to it, but can't work it through the middle. Hansen feeds it right back. Weiss has it poked off the stick. Nice defensive play by Nick Bonino. And Bonino kicks it ahead, makes a little move through the neutral zone. He'll head to the net. The pass across off the glass is deflected away by a Vancouver defender. Hansen gets it ahead. Tanev didn't get it all the way into the Anaheim zone, and Lovejoy hinges it back from Fowler. Molesky just dumps it in. After it's Silverberg. Bieksa crashing into him in the corner. Reverses the puck around. Passing. Plays it across. Stolen away by Maroon. He leans in, and that's to the back glass off of Eriksson over the glass and into the net. Anaheim keeping their foot on the pedal. Food and drinks are now included in all Ducks rental suites here at Honda Center. You'll have space for up to 40 fans. All you do is pick the menu of your choice. Call 714-634-2582 or go to hondacenter.com/suites and reserve yours today.
The 5-goal lead in the third period. This is all about keeping the feet moving for the Ducks. You know, keep the speed up. You already got a team that's down a little bit. But so that you don't get called for a bunch of hooking and holding type penalties, keep moving the feet.
Maroon just threw it into the blue paint. I'm reminded of the game on Saturday night in Phoenix. The Ducks had a 5-1 lead in the third period. And Bruce Boudreau used his timeout with just over a minute to go after the Ducks had given up a couple of goals to make it 5-3. It wasn't that the game was really in that much jeopardy, but he told me later, he said, I was mad. He said, I told my guys, play for your goaltender. He's standing on his head. He's a big part of the reason you got the lead you've got. And don't give up goals and cut corners. It's all about the details. You called it coachable moments, Brian. That's exactly what this entire third period becomes.
You know, he doesn't miss anything. I was watching him, prior to the start of the third period, before any of the players had actually made it out onto the ice. He made a point of calling the referees over to the Anaheim bench. And you know what he was saying. Look, 6-1 game. Siskito's dropping the gloves right off of a face-off. He just wants to plant the seed in the back of the referee that, my expectation as a coach here is that you're going to watch this.
Booth shovels a backhander that Anderson turns away off his shoulder. It's going to be hard. Oh, Booth knocks it away. I was just going to say it's going to be hard for John Tortorella to find many positives in tonight's game. But David Booth has been very active and at times the most dangerous Canuck.
Yep, and he had a real good scoring chance moments ago and shoveled the backhand, but that went right into the midsection, and then Freddie Anderson almost boxes that one right back out in front of his net. He got the benefit of a quick whistle from the referee.
Confidence is a good thing. Overconfidence is another thing. Canucks win the draw, and it's Hamhuis into the middle, and that one looked like a 7-iron as it went off of Lovejoy and into the netting. And Hamhuis without a goal in his last 29 games. I think for a lot of people was the surprise, perhaps, at least on the Canadian blue line when the Olympic selections came out. And heading to his first Winter Olympic Games next month in Sochi. Tanev bumped by Cogliano, but he keeps his feet and moves it around. And the Canucks the other way. The aforementioned Hamhuis can't get to it as Lovejoy swats it back. Tanev throws it up the middle and they wave the icing.
Linesmen were kind of looking at one another when the Ducks shot that puck in. Potentially could have been called icing.
Fowler in full flight. Coast to coast. And that'll just chip it down behind the net. Garrison sends it back. Higgins on his horse into the Anaheim zone. Former Yale Eli got around the defender and then reaching back. Postma stripped it from him. Great play by Francois. He didn't give up on it. Punched away by Anderson as the Canucks launch a long one. That one off the stick of Kessler. Recovers it in neutral ice. Then storms back into the Anaheim zone with Zach Kassian. Kassian gets to it. And Higgins was open for a moment. He didn't give him the puck. Kessler now tries to center. Getzlaf broke it up. Tried to clear, then hit Penner. Speaking of not giving up on the puck, look at Getzlaf. Just hounding it until he's able to make an easy pass up the wall. Oshman goes rink wide. Perry crisscrosses with Penner. Penner cuts to the middle. Fires wide on the short side.
He had Sammy Vatanen coming late into the zone, who was just absolutely wide open down the middle of the ice. Unfortunately, Dustin Penner did not see him.
Well, I know you're right because Sammy Vatanen's always open. He's not afraid to tell me or anyone. Richardson overskated it, but the Canucks stay onside. Kistrick off the glass and out. Hard on the backhand, forces Garrison back. Bonino intercepts, and Solani got a touch on it, so no icing. Bonino sends it back in. I think
little play right there by Anderson. I mean, defensemen love goaltenders to stop those pucks and move it immediately. They don't go behind the net to retrieve the puck. The defenseman goes into the corner. It's a 15-foot pass from the goalie, and the defenseman never gets hit as a result.
Tanev just able to hook it back into the blue line. Santorelli trying to work it up the wall. Tanev gets it towards the net. Deflected wide. Maroon steps down as Galton chases his own rebound. And Maroon in full flight. Look at him go up left wing. Has Perreault with him. Bad angle shot kicked away by Eriksson. Perreault gets to the rebound. Open at the line. Lindholm. Quickly across. Boschma fumbled it for a moment. Keeps it alive up the boards. Comes out to Dale Weiss, who protects it and angles it out. You talked about the Ducks keeping their feet moving. Brian, they're keeping the clock moving right now.
They're doing a great job. And a lot of nice little plays, little passes like that. Just like jinxed them there.
Again, it came to Booth. Weiss able to work it over, and it's fired wide by Daniel Sedin. It'll come all the way back out. Edler shovels it across for Henrik. His pass blocked. And here's Silverberg, 2-on-1 with Cogliano. He gets it over, and Cogliano just missed it. Silverberg again. Open this time is Lovejoy. Winds and fires, and a glove saved by Eriksson. He'll hold on. We're nearly halfway through the third period. A thus far scoreless final period. Brought to you by Miller Lite. This got the scoring started.
The onslaught started. A bounce off the glass. Silverberg quick to jump on it. He gets it to Andrew Cogliano. A quick little snapshot. Beats Eddie Lack to provide the 1-0 lead. And, you know, that first period was a tightly contested period. In a 6-1 game, we sometimes overshadow the fact how good Freddie Anderson was in the opening period. The fact that the Canucks had a number of quality chances in the first 20.
I thought he was the story of the first period, despite the 2-0 lead for Anaheim coming out of the opening period. That, of course, paved the way for the explosion. As again, it's Anderson playing the puck. He nearly connects with Jackman. Jason Garrison plays it around, and the Canucks just ice it. There's no getting around it here. And we were talking a moment ago, Brian, about the importance of tomorrow night's game for the Vancouver Canucks in Phoenix. And here's why. When you look how tight those wild card spots are, and of course we do have a long way to go.
Well, Phoenix with 51 points, 6 back of the Canucks. They're going to have a game in hand after, have 2 games in hand after tonight. So that is a big one, and kind of why we expected that this third period would not get out of hand. Canucks are going to have to look forward.
Sammy Vatanen misses. Penner up the middle, no icing, say the linesman. So Jarnik Weber has to play it. Vatanen ends up with it at the line, but Sestito knocks it down. And they'll angle it in off the glass as the Canucks turn and get a change. Vatanen waits, gives it to Getzlaf, and throws a strike off the skate of Penner, who does a nice job following up and just knifing it deeper into the zone. The Canuck player fell down. And Getzlaf gets to the puck. As Kessler behind the net. Perry, one hand on the stick, he scores! Penner was there as well with the blue paint. I don't know if he touched it or not. Paul Dvorsky asks him.
You see Penner going to the front of the net. It goes off. I think it's off the stick of Kevin Bieksa and right through the wickets. Yeah, it's off the defenseman's stick. You see the pads open up, and Eriksson can't slam them together quickly enough. When things are going good, they're going good.
Both of Corey Perry's goals tonight have been own goals. First it was Hamhuis, now it's Bieksa. 7-1, the 7 goals, the most the Ducks have scored in a game all season. Here's Molesky in the high slot, and he rattles the glass, and it ends up in the netting. Anaheim has scored a season high tonight, and we've still got 8:49 to go.
here is what lies ahead for the Ducks. Tough back-to-back, Chicago, St. Louis, coming up Friday and Saturday before returning home. The Winnipeg Jets on Tuesday, and back-to-back with the Kings. Don't forget about the Dodger Stadium game. Jonas Hiller, we're not sure when his next start will be. It all depends on how quickly he shakes the flu virus, but 14 consecutive wins, tied for the second longest single season streak in NHL history. Just an absolutely incredible year for Hiller.
Only Gilles Gilbert of the Boston Bruins, 75-76, has won more consecutively, 17 in a row. Ducks this season have scored 4 goals or more 21 times, 5 goals or more 15 times, 6 goals or more 6 times, and tonight is the first time they've scored 7 goals in a game. Third in the league in goal scoring coming into tonight. They lead it 7-1, and Daniel Sedin puts it into the blue paint. Sam Torelli can't get to it, and Boschman will just lift it back. He will not go far enough for icing.
That was Weiss that went right into the goal crease and almost pushed Freddie Anderson right back in behind the goal line.
Well, literally, that is the only way the Canucks have scored tonight. That was by running over Anderson in the waning seconds of the second period. Bid blocked in front by Lovejoy. Silverberg swats it away from Booth, and Fowler keeps the legs moving. Quick cross-ice pass from Koivu off the boards, picked up by Lovejoy. Doesn't have anybody with him, so he feathers it in, and the Ducks will get changes.
Get it deep. No need to send 2 forecheckers in deep unless you've got a real good chance of recovering the puck. See the Ducks kind of dropping back, flooding the neutral zone.
Here's a giveaway. Jackman backhands it. Rebound for Perreault, and it's held by Eriksson, and Perreault is cleared out. And Jackman isn't going to allow it. Neither is Maroon, who comes flying in. Sammy Vatanen is throwing with Jannik Hansen. A Dane and a Finn, and they are separated as they sling one another apart. I thought it began with Jackman, and I thought he was engaged with Sestito.
Yeah, it was Sestito who started throwing haymakers right off the bat. The Ducks went down into the goal crease, big rebound, and then Sestito puts the hit on Perreault, and then it's on with Jackman and Sestito.
Oh, you gotta love the jam from Sammy Vatanen. Look at him come flying in here at the end, and then he's just gonna pull Hansen out of there. While Sestito had Jackman in the goal crease. Sammy's not the biggest guy, but he backs down from nothing. It'd be a challenge, a fight.
He's got to learn how to get the gloves off, because you can't defend yourself when you've got your hockey gloves on. You can't grab a hold of your opponent to defend. Even if you're not going to throw punches, get those hockey gloves off your hands.
Quietly awaiting the results. Henrik Sedin and Brian Getzlaf.
Smile on Vatanen's face over at the Ducks bench. His teammates will be giving him the gears a little bit, I'm sure.
Well, the right line was on the ice for Anaheim.
It was.
In that circumstance. Maroon and Jackman have been out there for a purpose all night long. They've been very effective offensively. You can see Paul Dvorsky now with both hands up. It looks as if
Sestito has got to at least get an extra 2 for initiating the altercation. I mean, his gloves were off, and he was throwing it as soon as he saw Tim Jackman. And I'll be very surprised if he doesn't get at least a game and he's gone. I mean, and that's what Sestito is. I mean, he's a little bit of a knucklehead. He leads the National Hockey League in penalty minutes, and that's how he stays in the league.
Well, yeah, there's not a lot of gray area. Sestito on his third team, just 5 years in the league. They put 7 minutes up on the board on both sides.
And for Vancouver, number 36, Jannik Hansen. 2 minutes instigating, 5 minutes fighting, and a game misconduct.
And now they've taken the time down off the Anaheim side. John Tortorella's team was virtually shorthanded for 10 of the first 11 minutes 2 nights ago at Staples Center against the Kings. And right now, there's 2 sets of 7 minutes of penalties on the Vancouver side of the scoreboard. And you can tell Tortorella doesn't like the explanation. It looks like his team is going to be 2 men down for what could be basically the duration of this hockey game.
I have never seen this in my life.
Nor have I.
I have never seen, we're talking about a 5-on-3 power play for 7 minutes. Honestly, I don't understand this. I really don't.
I'm with you. Never seen it. At first, when it went up there, I thought it was a typo. They would move some of the time over, but
I guess the interpretation is that Jackman didn't throw a punch, and Sestito kept throwing him while he was down on the ice in a vulnerable position.
Hansen and Sestito each get 2 for instigating and 5 for fighting. Nothing for Jackman or Vatanen. It was 7:11 to play in the game. Tack on 10-minute misconducts for both of them as well. Sestito is going to have a firm grip on that leading penalty minute total after tonight.
Now Bieksa, pound for pound, a lot of players will tell you that he might be the toughest guy in the league.
I remember
He's talking to Patrick Maroon, and they're eyeballing one another right now.
Years ago, I asked George Peros who might be one of the toughest guys in the league that nobody knew about, and he said Kevin Bieksa to me. He said he's so strong.
Cassian
trying to get Maroon involved in something, and I think he just got a 10-minute misconduct. With 7:11 to go, it's easy to just hand out misconducts and get guys out of the game, and it looks like that's what they've done with Cassian.
There's 2 more games, both that will be played in Vancouver. And this game is going to have an impact on those 2 games. You've got to believe.
Well, as they sort things out here at Honda Center, we're going to step aside. The Ducks appear to be on their way to yet another win, and they're going to have a lot of power play time when we come back. 7:11 to go at Honda Center. 7-1 Anaheim, and 7 seems to be the number of the moment because the Ducks are on a 2-man advantage potentially for the next 7 minutes.
Okay, so what Bruce Boudreau has done here is he's put out essentially his 4th line on the power play because he's trying not to embarrass his opponent. The only problem for his opponent is that the Ducks' 4th line is very capable of scoring and scoring a lot.
Maroon gets decked by Hamhuis as he feeds it back to Sami Vatanen. Lindholm plays catch with Vatanen quickly across. Perreault's pass intended for Jackman off his stick. Stepped into by Tanev. Maroon works it back to the line. Wide open Perreault, one-timer, and again Eriksson makes the save, but the rebound just lays in front of him. And the Canucks able to clear. The Ducks are 4 for 5 tonight on the power play. One of those goals came on a 2-man advantage. The team record for power play goals in a game is 4. Lindholm to Perreault. His pass off the skate of Richardson.
The Ducks know if they so much as lay a stick on the Canucks, they're going to the penalty box.
Lindholm with a wrist shot. Rebound again, just laid there for a moment before being cleared away by Edler. Lottman's one-time. Eriksson can't cover. Jackman had a bit at the rebound. Middle of the ice is Lindholm. Perreault doesn't want to shoot, tries to pass it over, but it's tipped right to Lindholm. Trying to open that passing lane is Perreault. They get it over to Vatanen, he missed everything.
Penalty killers are just gassed.
I think the power players are too. Vatanen rips it. Save Eriksson, he got the whistle. He didn't hold on. And now Maroon pushed to the end wall.
There's Bieksa. He's going after Pat Maroon.
And Pat says, okay.
Actually, might not have any players left. And this is all sorted out.
Edler has a hold of Jackman in the background there. left in the penalty time. There's 5:37 left in the game. And we'll see what Dan O'Rourke and Paul Dvorsky have here. As we take a look at the end of the play once again. Jackman was able to dislodge the puck, but the whistle came, and then Bieksa just trying to goad Maroon into anything he can.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's going to be it for Bieksa. That'll be it for Pat Maroon.
And Bieksa having words with the entire Anaheim bench on his way off. In case you're interested, these teams don't play again until March 29th, and then they'll play one another again just 10 days later on April the 7th. Both of those games will be in Vancouver. So a cooling off period, to say the least, of better than 2 months. But hockey players are like elephants, Brian. They have very long memories.
Well, you know, I will say this. It depends. It depends on where Vancouver is in the standings.
That's very late in the season, both of those games.
They could be must-win games for the Canucks to qualify for the postseason.
They'll afford to play that way if you need the 2 points.
No, I mean, I've just not seen them, and this is the second time now that we've seen the Canucks take 7 minutes in penalties and their opponent not be given any penalty minutes. If it happened in the game against the Kings, didn't have to pay a price for that one. This one's been over for some time.
It's a pair of 10-minute misconducts to Bieksa and Maroon. Lovejoy, hard one-timer, produces yet another rebound, and Solani scores.
Celebration for Solani.
Almost apologetically.
The Ducks just skate back to center. No high fives, no smiles. Gillespie there on the doorstep. Solani waits. He doesn't miss very often from close range. As soon as he shoots that puck in the net, he looks around to make sure any kind of liberty is not going to be taken. The 8 goals that they have scored tonight ties the team record. So this team that just continues to shatter franchise records, just amazing.
Well, they turn it over at the blue line, and here's Higgins short-handed, caught by Lovejoy, who came back. That is the 5th Anaheim power play goal tonight. That is a new franchise record. Never before have the Ducks scored more than 4 on the power play in a game. Oshima now with Lovejoy across the top of the power play. Cogliano, bottom right circle, gives it back. Lovejoy's shot deflects to the side of the net. Silverberg keeps it alive for Boydell. Still on the power play as Lovejoy serves it over. And Eriksson sweeps it away. Tough night for the youngster making his NHL debut. Oshima's shot hits Silverberg. And Higgins recovers the puck. The goal didn't come until the major portion of the power play, so it's still not only a power play, but a 5-on-3. Cogliano sneaks it through, and Silverberg couldn't get the shot away. And the Canucks able to clear up the middle.
This is one of those where the Ducks are kind of darned if they do, darned if they don't. Yeah. If they score again, everyone's going to be all up in arms about them running up the score. But if they don't try to score, they're also going to be criticized.
Solani. Fans want him to shoot, obviously. Fistrick will. Rare power play time for Mark Fistrick as he and Vatanen are out. That missed everything and came around, and now Fistrick carries it back in. Edler works it along the wall as Penner tries to dig it free. It's gloved down by Vatanen at the line. The fans want more. How much is enough as Santorelli one-hands it out of the zone. Under 3 to go in the game. Ducks with 40 shots on goal now. As Penner takes the lead pass and drops it back for Perreault. He walks in and then lays it back. Vatanen will trade places with Fisker. Solani tried to make the pass through, and it's broken up. And Anderson actively out to play it. There's a lot of room on the Vancouver bench over there. So a number of players are done for the night. Eriksson, the youngster, stays put. As I mentioned, this is his NHL debut. He's going to end up playing about 36 minutes in this game, and he's already surrendered 5 goals. That's a tough way to break into the league.
Well, there's been a couple that were a little bit questionable, but when you are shorthanded all the time against a red-hot team.
Lovejoy's shot takes a huge bite out of Tanev. Bonino gets it back, and off a mask of Eriksson. Both Bonino and Solani have 2 goals tonight. They both came on the power play. Bonino slides it over. Patient. He gets it back from Silverberg, and he just missed off.
It's a hat trick.
Very nearly had a hat trick.
This was all about setting Nick Bonino up for the hat trick. And, you know, he's not even going to try and smile as he goes back to the bench. They skate past. They wait till they get to the bench. No smiles in front of the Vancouver bench. It's a first-class way to handle it, and I would just expect nothing else from this team, John.
Well, Anderson gets a rare touch here in the last 7 or 8 minutes as he moves it ahead. A little lost in the shuffle in an 8-1 game, 31 saves. To the backhand goes Solani. He also seeking the hat trick. And I believe another penalty coming up to Vancouver here. Anderson got halfway to the bench, and Bruce Boudreau sent him back out. He said, we don't need to send an extra man on. Solani got the great feed from Cogliano, and he misfired. A slashing call against the Canucks. And why not with 1:06 left? Just one more. It won't affect the manpower situation.
Here's the chop. Yeah, you got to call that. I mean, it's on the hands of Solani as he's moving in on the backhand. And the referee is very aware. They don't want to see any players get hurt.
The penalty time can't begin for Garrison until somebody else comes out of the Vancouver penalty box. That would be with 10 seconds left. So now we're under a minute to go in the game. Bruce Boudreau gets Bonino and Solani on the ice. Both of them just 1 goal away from the hat trick tonight. As Solani brings it in, protects it along the right boards and drags it as far as he can. Bonino to the middle, finds Sammy Vatanen. He wires it. Eriksson has this one stick to him.
Sammy Vatanen is not afraid to shoot the puck, as we know. That was a good low shot. Traffic in front. Potential opportunities for a couple of players to get a touch on it.
Another face-off win. It's Vatanen with a shot pass. Tipped in by Perreault. Is a new franchise mark for goals in a game.
This may have hit a Vancouver defender in front. Yeah, you know what? It's Hamhuis. Hamhuis puts it into his own net. That's the 3rd own goal tonight for the Vancouver defense.
So Vatanen will be credited with the power play goal, which now becomes the 6th power play goal of the game for the Ducks. They have set a franchise mark for goals and power play goals in a game, and they lead it 9-1 with 37.2 seconds left.
13 different players have scored points in this game. 8 players have had multiple point games.
And Brian, the last time these teams got together, we had to watch to the very end because Corey Perry scored with a second left. Yeah. Tonight, I'm afraid we got to watch to the very end because when this is all said and done, obviously you got a frustrated group of Canucks out there. They've shown it up until now. And I just wonder, here's Solani turned away by Eriksson, but a penalty coming up again against the Canucks.
It's another slash.
It's another slash, and I think it's going to go against Yannick Weber.
Yeah,
and it was a two-hander. I mean,
and it's on the hands. And you know what? I mean, you got to call this. This is a total breakdown in discipline, but this is a more than your garden variety slash. That's a vicious slash by Weber.
So there's 4 different penalties up on the board. Take a look if you're in the arena, folks, because you don't see the scoreboard look like this very often. It's a very crowded penalty box, but you can see those last 2 penalties can't even begin until the first 2 expire. And that will be in another 10 seconds. The Canucks clear the zone, and Anderson will settle it down. And I'll be surprised if Hotton comes from behind the Anaheim goal here. We're down to 10 seconds. Clock will wind down, and the unbelievable roll the Ducks are on continues. The teams keep their distance from one another at the end of the game, and that might be the best thing going besides all the records set tonight by the Ducks. Frederik Andersen steps in, very nearly shuts out the Canucks. The Ducks set a record for goals and power play goals in a game. They have now won 18 of their last 19 and begun the year 20-0-2 in this building.
Unbelievable start for the Ducks, 20-0-2 here at Honda Center. They said this season they wanted to reestablish themselves as a dominant home team. I think they've accomplished that. Oh, what a performance tonight.
That is a definition of dominance. 14 different players on the score sheet tonight. Just one of many superlatives in this one against the Canucks.
6 for 10 on the power play is just crazy. Crazy night for the Ducks offensively.
The 9 goals, a club record. The 6 power play goals, a club record. They have won 18 of 19 games. Plenty of candidates for tonight's 3-star selection. Let's listen in.